Welcome to the Red Carpet Report, your backstage pass for celebrity book clubs, book adaptations, and new releases. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Kirsten.
And we're your hosts.
This week's episode is a plot twist where we're going to be talking about the reading challenge, specifically middle grade historical fiction, which is our March prompt. But before that, we've got the Red Carpet Rundown with Jackie.
I'm very excited because tomorrow, which is Friday, February 20th, on Apple TV is the second season of The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. And it is based on the book, The First Time I Saw Him.
Because that's not confusing at all.
Right. That's not a lot of words at all. But if you remember, both those books were chosen as Reese Witherspoon books. The new book was Reese's January book club pick. So this is a really fast turnover from release of the book to filming and release of the second season.
I am very excited about this. I feel like I've seen a lot of Jennifer Gardner, Laura Dave, Reese Witherspoon crossover content, and I think that this is going to be a really good season. This is one of those that I watch with my husband and we can't get enough of, so I am pumped.
I have to tell you, I haven't seen the first season or the second season because we don't have Apple TV.
You haven't seen the first season?
No. And so this is totally, completely unrelated. There is going to be another season of Ted Lasso. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this because it was my all-time favorite show ever.
Okay.
When the new season of Ted Lasso comes out, we will renew our Apple TV and then we will binge watch everything.
Oh my God, or just come to my house and watch it with us. Like,
I
can't believe you haven't seen this show.
I can't believe either. And I know that I would love it because I love the book and I love Jennifer Garner.
Oh my God.
And Ellie would like it too because it's action thriller. I know that he would love it. So we're kind of just like holding out.
I am like
watch
in
all of
complete
them.
shock.
I know.
I'm in complete
know.
shock. That is crazy to me.
I know.
Well, the other red carpet rundown news is Jennifer Weiner has a new book being adapted. This is her first book since 2005's In Her Shoes. That's being adapted, which was great. And it's going to be the Griffin sisters, which you read.
I did. Wait a minute. 2005?
Yeah. In Her Shoes was 2005.
Like 21 years ago?
Yes. That was her last book adaptation. I think it might have been like her only other book, which In Her Shoes was
I don't know,
Toni Collette and Cameron Diaz. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Griffin sisters is going to be great, especially because Amy Sherman Palladino, well known for The Modern Mrs. Maisel, or the Marvelous
Mrs. Maisel, yeah.
And Gilmore Girls is the one who's going to write, direct, produce the whole situation.
Oh, it was a really good book. And I actually can see this being an amazing TV show. I think it's really interesting, the number of shows that are being adapted about musicians.
I know. I feel like Daisy Jones and the Six was so wildly popular that everyone is going to be like just adapting whatever they can about musicians.
And they're opening doors.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This is what I wonder. I wonder what they're going to do about the music. And I wonder if they're going to put out albums to go.
I mean, I am a proud owner of the Daisy Jones and the Six album.
Right?
I love that album.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be really fun. I think it would be great. Let's get into the plot twist. Now, this is one that I think could be controversial because a lot of adult readers are not into middle grade fiction, which is a mistake. We are here to tell you that it's a mistake for lots of reasons. Tell us why middle grade fiction is the actual best. I'm sorry, but I think it's better than YA.
I agree with you there. I feel like YA tends to be fluffy a lot of the times. And I would love it if YA would delve into some of these more serious topics in a way that was appropriate for younger adults. But a lot of times we don't see that.
It's either fantasy or romance. That's all you're seeing in YA.
Yes.
And middle grade. Recently. That's true.
Recently. In the past, there have been some fabulous YA books.
Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, there's like some good YA historical fiction, but middle grade it's a whole different level and people overlook it, which is why Middle Grade March exists.
Right. And so Middle Grade March is an opportunity to highlight middle grade books that even though the characters are middle grade age, which is generally 10 to 12 or 13, right? You could go from 9 to 13. The content is beautiful and appropriate for adults to read.
It's really just like wonderful fiction in general. And I personally started my kids with middle grade much earlier when they were in like first and second grade, and we would be going to and from the shore, and it was long car trips, and there's only so much Disney music I could take. I started doing audiobooks for middle grade, which were like slightly above. And you, as our little speech
Therapist,
I was
that
gonna
I
say.
am.
I was going to say speech pathologist. Is that wrong?
No, it's the same thing. Speech and language pathologist, speech therapist.
Well, as our expert, you can explain why middle grade audiobooks, some of them, as long as it's good content-wise,
Yes, 100%.
are okay for younger readers, and they make good read-alouds too.
Yeah, so a lot of times kids' ability to understand what they're reading is a lot higher than their ability to actually read, especially in first and second grade. So first and second graders are learning how to read. They may not be fully competent readers, but they understand a lot. And so giving them an audiobook with an appropriate content is a great way for them to listen to a story and increase their language abilities.
Mm-hmm. And it makes for much better like parent enjoyment. Like I preferred reading them these books like Mr. Lemoncello's Library and the
Penderwicks,
the
you
Penderwicks,
love
the Vanderbeekers. Those were all these great fiction books that I enjoyed reading and enjoyed reading aloud to my kids, as opposed to like a Ramona Quimby, which I guess is kind of a little more of a chapter book, like an early reader.
That's more of an early reader chapter book. Also, I find a lot of the characters in the early reader chapter books really annoying.
And when my kids graduated from like Cam Jansen to City Spies,
Yes,
or the Magic Treehouse books, when they graduated from that to like a Harry Potter or a Percy Jackson, I was like, I will listen to these any day of the week.
Yeah, 100%. And my kids, I started off reading them the Harry Potters, and we listened to the Harry Potters in the car rides until they could read them themselves.
Right. And so middle grades for kids are great in those ways. But then for adults, they're great reads.
Some of my favorite books, actually of all time, are middle grade books. A bunch of my favorite books of all time are middle grade books. I think they deal with such serious topics, but in a way that is so approachable and not triggering, but more enlightening and teaching and heartwarming.
And when you see a kid going through, when the kid is centered in the story and they're going through these struggles through wartime or the loss of a parent or some of these harder hitting topics, like when you are reading about a kid who's like really struggling, your heart breaks for them. And when they like make it through to the other side, you're just like, it's the best feeling. Like if you don't like a romance in general as a palate cleanser, these are excellent palate cleansers. Also, they're really short, so you can feel really successful like reading them really quickly.
But I find them to be really, emotionally fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Emotionally fulfilling.
They're very emotionally fulfilling.
So we, for our reading challenge, we love to do middle grades in March. We don't do it every year in March, but we do it, I would say, like every other year. We choose a middle grade of some kind. And this year we've chosen middle grade historical fiction.
Yes.
And before we get into what we're going to be reading with our book club, I thought we could highlight some of our favorites. And I'm going to go first.
Okay.
My personal favorite, and I have a battered copy that's in my son's room right now, is My Side of the Mountain by Jean Craighead George. And it's about a boy named Sam who runs away. It's got to be in 1930s. He runs away to the Catskills and he lives off the land. There are sketches and diagrams of how he like lives in a tree and he trains a peregrine falcon to help him hunt.
What?
And I don't know why this escapist reading like speaks to my heart, because I am not like the kind of person you would ever want to put in the wilderness to live on their own. But my copy is so battered and bruised and I love it so much. And when I read it to my kids, they loved it so much. It's in my son's room, like next to his bed, so he can read it whenever he feels like it. It is just the best. It's like this moment in time where like this could never happen in modern day
my
society,
God.
but it is so good.
It actually sounds like a middle grade version of The Great Alone.
It is. It is, which reminds me that Jackie just updated our list of adult books that were similar to your favorite childhood classics, and I think
it's on there.
it's on there. I'm telling you, it's a very unique book. I love it so much. It is in my 10 favorite books of all time. It will
really
always
funny.
forever be my favorite childhood book.
Oh my God. This is so
I don't know what this
funny.
says about me, but that is my first pick for middle grade historical fiction.
Okay, my first pick is Echo by Pam Munez Ryan. And I did not read this as a middle schooler. I read this as an adult.
And you didn't read it, you listened to it, which you absolutely should. You must listen to this one.
This is one you 100% have to listen to it. It's amazing. I've also read it too because it's just phenomenal. It is a story about 3 children and a harmonica that kind of brings them together. So the story starts and it feels like a fairy tale with like 3 women, and they give somebody a harmonica and they tell a little story that goes with it. And then the harmonica finds its way to 3 children who need it. We don't know how it transports from child to child because it is that magical element. But there's a child in Pennsylvania right after the Great Depression. There's a child in Germany in a world war. And then there's another child who is in the United States at the start of World War II. It is this beautiful story. It's historical fiction. Characters come together. I mean, this is one that you should 100% listen to with your kids in the car. You will want to keep driving.
And the harmonica music plays throughout the whole thing, which is why we say you should listen to it, because it's just like absolutely lovely and delicious. And I think it's a full cast. So each kid is narrated by somebody different.
Yes. And then at the end, when it all comes together, I mean, it was just, whew.
I feel like a lot of the best historical fiction for middle grade are about war. So sorry, we're going to get a little bit war heavy on this, but my next favorite is Refugee by Alan Gratz. Now, Alan Gratz is known, he's like very popular with, I would say, middle grade boys, middle school boys, or anyone who really loves like a deep war story as opposed to just like a lighter war story, which sounds different, but if you understand, you understand. And his book, Refugee, I think about it all the time. It is 3 different timelines. One is during when Cuba was taken over by Castro and people were trying to flee the country. One was during World War II when Jews are trying to escape the country. And the other is during the Syrian refugee crisis in modern day. And it kind of draws the parallels between all 3 characters. There's obviously like a kid centered in each one. And you sort of see how this cycle of refugees keeps repeating, and they go through the same sort of trials and tribulations as they try to escape a very dire situation back home. And it's my older one who's very political, very into politics. This was a really great way for us to talk about stuff that is relevant. The Syrian refugee crisis was like very relevant when he read this for the first time. And so this was a great bridge, and it's still something I listened to it first because I wanted to make sure that it was appropriate and that he would be okay with it. And I was moved to tears, and so was he. But I think that empathy that it generated was just worth reading. And every time I see a news story about it, I think about this book and how well done this was, and appropriate and heavy without being like just so depressing.
Yeah, and I think your point in that you listen to it first is very appropriate for a lot of these books. They're not long. So I think it's a really good idea to read them first or listen to them first to judge whether or not it's appropriate content for your child. So the next book is The War That Saved My Life,
which you have been raving about for as long as I've known you. And I swear this is the March that I am going to read this book.
You have to read this book. It's written by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley.
That is a tongue twister.
I'm having a trouble saying her name. It's a long one. This book is so phenomenal. It is the story of Ada and her younger brother. Ada is born with a club foot, and the children are being evacuated from London in the Blitz. And she is trying to get out. You should know that there's trigger warnings. Her mother's very abusive. She's encountered a lot of abuse, and she cannot walk on her foot. And the mother wants her to stay and is trying to get her younger brother out. And she ends up escaping and going to the countryside to go live with a woman. And it is her story. It is so phenomenal. And it actually has a second book that is The War I Finally Won. These two books are so outstanding. I mean, I can't even talk about them without crying. I read them to my daughter because the abuse that she suffers at the beginning is very well written. And so it is heart-wrenching. And so I read this with my daughter so that we could process it together. And I think it's really important that people know that going into this book, but it is heartwarming. It's lovely. It is one of my favorite books ever.
And I will read it. I will be reading it this year. This is I'm saying it now. I'm being held accountable. I'm going to read it.
I'm going to give you a box of Kleenex. You are going to be hysterical.
I'm sure I will.
She's going to call me like
I'm
sobbing.
Sure I will be. I'm sure I will be.
And you're going to love it so much.
I'm very excited. I feel like I'm good. I need like a good cry. Like I haven't had a book that has made me cry yet this year. And I'm an easy crier. I know. I'm ready. And the middle grades always do it for me.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, you're a crier. You haven't read any book where you cried?
No. Not since Heart the Lever. Wow. Either I'm becoming more cynical or the books are not hitting in the same way.
I think it's because you've been reading too many thrillers.
Maybe. You know what? I have. I've been having a very dark time of it. You're right. Maybe it's time for me to get in there. My final pick is the Bletchley Riddle. It's a dual writer situation, which is like very fun. It's Steve Schenken and Ruta Sepetys. And it's this phenomenal book also set during World War II about an orphan named Lizzie whose mom dies during the Nazi occupation of Poland. She's something. And her older brother, who she's now living with, is working at Bletchley Park. And she's not supposed to know what Bletchley Park is.
Oh.
But she also doesn't believe that her mom is really dead.
Ooh.
And she's this like excellent riddle solver. So obviously she's like solving some cluey things at Bletchley. And she does her own thing and she's trying to figure out what happened to her mom. And she's also kind of helping her brother. And it was so wildly entertaining and very, very fun to read because there's all these like codes that she's breaking which is just like a fun part of history. And I love Bletchley in general. We almost went when we went to England last summer and we didn't have time. It was like a little bit too far out, which I regret because I just think Bletchley is like the coolest thing ever. And if you don't know, if you haven't seen The Imitation Game, Bletchley is where they broke Enigma, which is the machine that the Germans used to code all of their messages. And that is ultimately what won the war because they were able to crack all their codes. So they knew like where the boats were going to be, where the battles were going to be. And the English did that at Bletchley Park. So that's where this takes place.
That's fun.
It's a really fun one. It's heavy without being too heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like Refugee and The War That Saved My Life are like, you're going to rip your heart and soul out.
Yes.
The other ones, Echo, you're probably going to cry. My Side of the Mountain is just fun. Bletchley Park or Bletchley Riddle is fun. And
that's such a good list.
We have a solid list.
We have a solid list. There's some fantastic other books on that list.
Yeah, that we didn't even have a chance to talk about today. But now we get to talk about our book club pick.
I'm so excited. So I would like to preface this by saying my daughter reads a lot. Like she reads as much as we do. She read this book and said it's one of her favorite books that she has ever read of all time. She cried her eyes out while reading this book, and she is not a crier. I read it and I absolutely loved this book.
And
Okay.
I'm starting it this week, and I'm so excited.
You're going to love it. So the book is Not Nothing by Gail Forman. So the book starts off, and we say it's a historical fiction. Really, it's a dual timeline. Most of it takes place in the present. There's a boy named Alex, and he's done something bad. We don't know what it is at the beginning of the book. And so he is sent to a senior facility, like an old age home, to go do community service. And while he's there, he meets a 107-year-old man who survived the Second World War and has not spoken in 5 years. And the two of them form a beautiful relationship, and each of them is able to talk about what they did. So Alex can share his story about the bad thing that he did, and the 107-year-old man, I know how his name is spelt. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I don't know if it's Josie or Jossie.
Okay.
Is eventually comes to terms with why he has not spoken in 5 years. And it's such a wonderful story about forgiveness and friendship and multi-generational and having an effect on all those around you. And it is just so well written. I cannot wait to talk to her about this book.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to read it. I'm telling you, middle grades. I read one this weekend. They just bring me like joy. They just bring me joy.
And it's such a good way to talk about such complex issues in a way, I mean, I said this before, in a way that's so approachable. Anyone can approach it without it being like too heavy and feeling like guilt-ridden and like, what have I done? So,
and I'm so excited because our book clubbers love a middle grade too.
yeah.
We always recommend them if we find a good one. So this is a good one that we get to talk to Gail Forman, who's local, about.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm so excited about this one.
Let's move it over to the Bookmark. It's a Jackie week, and she brought props.
I did. I did, because I got the most adorable book mail ever. Okay. So this is the package. How cute is this?
Aww.
Okay. It says Les Amis de Chat, which means friends of cats. Okay. In French.
Mm-hmm, because she speaks the French.
I speak the French. Because the book is Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter. Okay. This is so adorable. It's by Heather Fawcett.
Look at that, like embossing on the front.
I know. Oh. And it's so cute. It like just feels so good. She wrote the Emily Wilde series.
Oh, that's another favorite of yours.
It is. And so I really wanted to read this. And all of her books are these perfect handheld, like small hardback copies that just feel so good to read. But this one is so adorable. It is typical Heather Fawcett. If you've ever read any of her other books, it is very sweet, a touch of romance, fantasy, so cozy. They're so sweet. So this one takes place in Montreal in the 1920s, where Agnes is really mad because some warlocks have been dueling. They set part of the city on fire, including where she had her cat shelter. No one was injured, but she can't live there anymore. She needs to move the cat shelter. So she's finally found a place, but then she discovers that the, most feared warlock, dark wizard is running a magical shop underneath her shelter. He's the owner of the shelter, and now she has to deal with him while trying to save all the city's cats.
You just love this because it's from Canada and it's about cats.
I mean, yeah.
You Canadian cat lover, you.
There's cats, there's magic, there's Montreal. I mean,
this sounds like a very cozy, delicious book to read.
It is so sweet. There's, a little bit of romance. It's at the beginning. She is a young widow, which is the second book I've read about a young widow, but they don't make it too sad, right? So she's getting over. She's learning how to live her life, and it's delicious and adorable, and you get to see all the personalities of these little cats and the magic, and she's a little quirky. I love that she writes these quirky characters that are very much themselves and will not like take any guff from anybody.
I love this. I love this book. This is a great one. That takes us to the end of the episode and the reader question. Next week, we are weirdly going to be talking about March.
How?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But we're going to go over March new releases and our predictions and yours for Celebrity Book Club.
So write us, let us know who you think, what books you think Jenna, Oprah, GMA,
and
Reese are going to pick for their March picks. Like, follow, subscribe anywhere that podcasts can be found, and we will see you next week.
Happy reading.